Good evening and welcome to the 622nd episode of Travelwitch. I'm Dan Schlossberg and we are on the 15th season of Travelwitch Radio, the show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair. Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, tour operators, and others in the world of travel and hospitality, from authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travelwitch. And our guest tonight is Jay Smith, owner-operator of Sports Travel and Tours. Welcome, Jay, to Travelwitch Radio.
Thanks for having me, Dan, once again. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, Jay, we're in the dead of winter here in the Northeast, but it's never too soon to talk baseball, especially since they've just announced the Hall of Fame's class of 2026, with Carlos Beltran and Andruw Jones joining Jeff Kent. Do you anticipate a good response as you try to book passengers for induction weekend?
Well, I'm surely hoping for a good response. It's a little early yet just because it is the dead of the winter. And even down in Atlanta, they're getting cold weather, so people aren't thinking necessarily totally of the summer yet. But we got a quick bounce, as we call it, right after the induction. So the following day, that night, and actually into the following day, we did some have activity, and we are giving our darndest shot at getting the word out, marketing the effort out of it, and like normal, we are hoping for a pretty good attendance.
For listeners who don't know, what is the advantage of coming to induction weekend with the official tour operator of the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is Sports Travel and Tours?
Oh, that's an easy one, Dan. When people join us, the beauty of it all is you just need to sit back and have fun. You don't have to worry about the logistics, the travel, where to park, where to walk, what to do, where to go, what time you need to do it. Once you join up with us on that first day, we take care of you for the entire weekend. We drop you off right at the Hall of Fame, right in front of the Hall of Fame. For Saturday, we pick you right up at the end of the day, right in town. On Sunday, at the induction itself, we bring you right to the induction site. Our buses stay there with us the entire time, so you have access to the motor coach. So it's really just an ease of operation. Just you get there for day one, and we take care of you the whole rest of the way. That is the major advantage of joining us. We have special access to the events and to Cooperstown, which Cooperstown itself kind of gets shut down. If you do it on your own, you have to park. You've got to park, you can't even really. You've got to park on the outside parking lots outside of town. Hope that you can get a shuttle. You wait online possibly for half an hour to get a shuttle bus. And then when you first get into town, you then have to walk and get back to the shuttle at the end of the day, waiting online to get back to where your car is. So you don't have to do any of that with us. You've got to obviously pay the tuition to join up, but it surely makes it a lot more enjoyable being with us the entire time.
And you give people a chance to avoid worrying about traffic, ticketing, finding places to stay, and many other things. But why do your group stay in Albany, which is not exactly next door to Cooperstown?
Well, we have some groups that stay in Albany and Cooperstown and Oneonta, which is surrounding communities. The reason for Albany is it's the airport gateway into the area. If you're coming anywhere from outside driving distance, you don't have an option. You have to fly into Albany. I mean, you could fly into Syracuse, but a little further away from everything. And the reason for Albany is that that's where the most hotels are. Between Albany and Cooperstown, there are not much in the way of hotels. It's all small back roads. There's some little motels that I'm not sure if I'd want anybody that I know to stay in them. So Albany really is the gateway into the entire corridor of upstate New York. And that's the major reason for it. All the hotels are there. We have a headquarter hotels in the Marriott. We've got other surrounding hotels within the area. So depending on the type of hotel and the quality of stay that people would like, that's the kind of different packages that we have.
And doesn't Sports Travel and Tours offer a variety of prices, choices, and options designed to meet the varying budgets of vacationers.
Exactly. That's what I was just kind of saying is that, we've got full service hotels, like a Marriott that have restaurants and bar in it. We've got limited service hotels, like the Holiday Inn Express or the Hampton Inn. Uh, Great quality, little less in service, but it's the same bed, same, put your head on the same pillow. It just is a little less costly staying at a limited service type property. So depending on people's budgets and what they would like to add on to the program, it starts with a base package, and then you can just basically add, whether it be quality of hotel. You can spend more days. We also have an extended stay, which includes the Monday event. If you head into Cooperstown or Oneonta, those packages do include a little bit more fluff. They've got the Cooperstown stay. The what we call the Gold Glove has an autographed ball of the inductee of your choice. We have some special other events that go on in Cooperstown. So we do have, as you're suggesting, we do have a variety of different price points. The induction itself is the same for everybody. The only difference in the induction is where you sit. We do have some what we call infield seats, which are in a secured, fenced-off area where the players, the media, and the family sit. And then we also have space out in what we call the outfield grassy area, which is the picture that you're showing here right now. And that is indeed in the same area. It's just a little further out from the stage. And most of the time, to be frank, you're actually looking at a lot of times you're actually looking at the big jumbotron, so you can actually see the player doing their speech.
I've always been impressed with all the extras contained in your induction weekend tours, including membership in the Baseball Hall of Fame, reserved seating at the actual inductions, and experienced and knowledgeable bus hosts who not only know baseball history, but also the scheduling of such special events as the awards program and the Parade of Legends. Take us to a typical day in induction weekend for your passengers.
Well, the typical day, the arrival day is on Friday. So this year it is, I forget the day now. It is, I should know that by heart. It's Friday, July 24th, and that's just an arrival day. So that's coming in, it's having a nice dinner, meeting some people, talking baseball, getting kind of pumped up for the weekend. And that's just really getting people into town. Other than dinner, it's relaxing evening, and you're hitting the sack because the next morning we're heading out at generally about 8 o'clock in the morning into Cooperstown. Now, the trips that stay in Cooperstown or Oneonta have only, about a half an hour or 10-minute drive. The Albany hotels are really actually kind of sweet, Dan, because in the morning when you get on the motor coach, even though you're about an hour and 15, 20 minutes from Cooperstown, you get on the bus, everybody's buzzing. People are finishing up their coffee. They might be reading the news on their phone or in the newspaper, or in a USA Today, Sports Weekly, which is also awesome to have, and about the weekend. And then once you start getting into the ride, the beauty of the area, where the Catskill Mountains and the Adirondacks kind of meet along the New York Thruway, the landscape just is absolutely magnificent. So for people who haven't seen, patchwork quilt type farmland, and it's just beautiful. Halfway through the ride, the tour host on the trip starts to describe what you're going to be doing throughout the day. And by the time he or she is done with the explanation, you're making a left turn onto Route 80, which is on the top end of Otsego Lake, and that becomes the pretty much the main ride into Cooperstown. The lake is beautiful. The reason why I call this a harmless hour and 15, 20 minutes is by the time you start feeling a little itchy that, okay, are we there yet? You're there. And we pull in on Saturday. We drop you right off next to the Hall of Fame, so you don't have to park your car. You don't have to walk anywhere. We literally drop you right off. You walk off the bus and you take your name badge. If you're wearing that, that's your direct walk-in to the Hall of Fame. You don't have to wait online. We have a direct access to the library entrance in the back of the hall. And all you do is you walk in with your name badge, you flash it. They don't ask you for anything. They know you're with us, and you walk right into the Hall of Fame. If you were not on the motor coach with us, you would have to stand on line in front of the hall. You'd have to wait, possibly sometimes down the street. It could take an hour just to be able to get into the Hall of Fame, to actually buy a ticket, to then be able to go and experience the hall. Where if you were coming off our motor coach, you already would be in the Hall of Fame for over an hour before before you would even get in, if you did this on your own. So the rest of the day is pretty much at your leisure, exploring the hall, exploring downtown Cooperstown. It's 3 or 4 blocks long, spectacular little town. I call it Main Street, USA. It's just the cutest little place. It's adorable. They've kept out all the McDonald's and the Burger Kings, and that's all on the outskirts of town. The center of town is all local establishments. It's all just baseball, baseball, baseball. And if you're not a fan of baseball, but you're there with your partner or wife or spouse or friend, there's still plenty to do in Cooperstown. You can go down to the lake. You can have a nice cup of coffee in the beauty of Otsego Lake. There's other things in town that you can do. So even if you're not a crazy baseball nut, you don't have to worry. You can join your friend or your family member and still be able to have a wonderful, enjoyable day. And then the prime thing on Saturday is, after you explore town all day, is at 6 o'clock, the parade comes on through. And this is about as close as you're going to get to the players. They line up the oldest inductee, and not necessarily oldest by age, but oldest in year that they were inducted. They come through first. They're on the back of pickup trucks, as you can see. They've got the name on the top of the truck, and the players sit in the back flatbed with generally a family member, and they come through about 1 or 2 minutes apart, and they just stream through Main Street. It's really exciting. The fans are crazy. Everybody's yelling for some of these guys. It's really fun. It's a lot of players, people you grew up with, potentially even your parents grew up with, potentially even your grandparents grew up with. So it's really fun to see some of these old-time players come on through. It's really exciting. And at the end of the parade, the best part is there's thousands of people in town. Our buses are parked right in the parking lot at Doubleday Field. So when you are done with the parade, you turn around, you walk right in back of you in the parking lot in Doubleday Field, and there's your motor coach. Where if you were doing this on your own, you'd first have to hope to get online to get a trolley to be able to get to the outskirts parking lot areas for you to be able to drive back to your hotel. When you're on a trip with us, once you load your motor coach up, you're already halfway back to your hotel before you would even be able to get to your car if you were doing it on your own. So we're really excited about that feature of our program, is being able to drop you off in town and pick you right up after the parade. And that's Saturday, Dan. Then we move quickly on to Sunday. Sunday morning, you wake up. We come back into Cooperstown. Again, you're excited about the day. It's induction day. You're pumped up no matter where or how far you've got to drive. It's the excitement is in the air. We bring you right to the induction site. So we have our motor coaches parked. We have special permit parking. We park right at the site. You park right next to where the inductees are going to be doing their speeches. You walk out of your motor coach, and then you walk right into either area, no matter where you're sitting. You walk directly to your seats. Your tour host shows you exactly where your seats are going to be located. And then you do have a couple of hours. Dan, you had one shot there that shows the school buses. The nice part about Cooperstown, they do provide shuttle buses from the induction site, which is about a mile outside of downtown. And they're shuttle buses that bring you into town. So if you don't want to just hang out, you surely can. It's a beautiful area tucked around cornfields. And that's kind of what it's like. It's exactly what you're looking at right there. And you're either going to be before that fence in the middle of this picture or in the back of that fence, either way. And you can see the big Jumbotron off to the left. And you can take these shuttle buses into town. And we encourage people to get back on the 12:30 coach, a bus back to the induction site. So people can go back into town to shop. They can go get something to eat if they want. But the induction itself starts very promptly at 1:30. And it's just a great event. It's really exciting. There's an introduction. They introduce all of the old players that are up on the stage there that you can see one by one. And then they knock it out with the speeches with each of the inductees. And then at the end of this, once the ceremony is all over, our motor coaches, as you're looking at this stage, you're just off to the left. You walk out of your seat, you walk over to your motor coach. As soon as everybody is filled up, we're on our way back to our hotel. And that's pretty much Sunday. Sunday night's a relaxing evening. We get back to the hotel usually around 6 o'clock. And on Monday, if you do stay over till Monday, there's also another event on Monday. It's where the players come back into town, and it's at Doubleday Field. And if you can picture this as you're listening, there are stands along the first base side of Doubleday Field, and that's where you sit. And they put a stage up at first base. And then the players that were just inducted with a moderator spend about an hour kind of joking around with each other. You know, they were inducted yesterday. The pressure is off. They're there now to have fun. They answer questions. They tell stories. The moderator does a great job. It changes from year to year. And it's just really a fun event. That's an event that goes off at 10:30. It's just about an hour till 11:30. We give you then the rest of the afternoon till around 3 o'clock in town to do your last minute shopping if you didn't fill up with everything before that. It's also a really nice day to be in town because the bulk of the big crowd have gone home. So Monday is really much more relaxed day, a great day to go actually into the Hall of Fame itself. And then at the end of the afternoon, we do bring you back to your respective hotels for your return trips back home. So that's pretty much as quick as I could make that weekend.
We're talking with Jay Smith of Sports Travel and Tours. Jay, what extras do passengers get? I know they get a framed keepsake plaque, a commemorative keepsake yearbook, and other little things.
Yeah, it depends on the program, but we have a special framed photo that actually is of the inductees. It also has a commemorative ticket for the day. It's really kind of a nice, I think it's a great souvenir. It's specially made for us. It's just awesome to have. And that's just one inclusion. Depending on the program that you're on, we do have lots of little other, we kind of call them little tchotchkes of some nature that just enhance the weekend and enhance the whole experience. And depending on the trip that you are on, will depend on what you go home with. There's also plenty of shops in town, and you can pick up as many souvenirs as you might like. Sweatshirts, T-shirts, hats, you name it, it's in town, and it's really kind of a fun town to walk around.
Okay, last question about the induction weekend. Where do you find your tour host? And are most of them educators who are off anyway for the summer?
Some are educators and off for the summer. Others are actually past travelers of ours who had a great time on programs because we have other trips other than the Hall of Fame that are multi-day programs and other sports we even offer. So we have tour hosts that join us sometimes on some of our other programs, and they come back and say, oh my God, I would love to do something like this. What do I need to do to get involved? And what I normally tell folks is it's pretty easy. You need to have a smile on your face, and you need to be able to count to 40 or 50 people because that's what's going to be on your motor coach. And if you can do those two things, we can train you and share with you how to run the program and what you need to do. We give everybody all the backup that they need in order to be a tour host. And as long as they're fun and friendly people, that's what people are looking for.
Sports Travel and Tours offers everything from the Super Bowl to the Kentucky Derby, every sports event in between. What is your 2026 program like, and what's new that wasn't there before?
We have a couple of programs that are new. We're offering this year a trip in September to Australia. The NFL is going to be opening up. The Rams are the first team that have been announced. They haven't announced the second team yet, but it's going to be a program that's going to launch off with the inaugural NFL football game in Australia, which will only be for a few days. That'll be in Melbourne. And then we've got about 12 days after that. Nobody's going to go to Australia just to see an NFL football game. And after the game, we're going to have about 10, 12 days to explore through the rest of Australia. We'll get through the reefs. We'll get to Sydney, Brisbane. So we've got some sights and sounds of the rest of what people would like to see in Australia. We've got a great partner that operates that for us, and that is new. We're also going to be launching very shortly a program to Cuba. We are going to do it twofold. One is going to be just an authentic Cuban experience, and then we're also going to offer eventually one that includes Cuban baseball. And that's going to be pretty exciting. You can still go to Cuba. People are not aware. Sometimes they think you can't go, but you can. You just have to travel under a certain guideline. And we kind of step everybody through that. But that is also something that will be new this year. The rest of the sports were still, as you mentioned, the Kentucky Derby, the Indy 500s, the Super Bowls, the All-Star games. All-Star game in Philadelphia this year is exciting. Just because it's a great city, and it'll be 250th anniversary as well of the country, so it's kind of nice. It's just a week after the July 4th, so Philly will be still all decorated out. And we're also this year bringing back in October a European river cruise. That's not necessarily sports related per se, but we kind of are attracting like-minded fans from different places who all have a common bond of the love of some sport, and we're attracting people just to come on something a little different. It's going to be on the Danube from Wilshofen, which is basically Prague area, and across the Danube through Vienna, Bratislava, and into Passau, and eventually ending up in Budapest. So that's kind of exciting too, to have something just a little different twist.
And the World Baseball Classic is coming up soon. People can go with Sports Travel and Tours, right?
Yeah, we still have limited space. That sold actually rather quickly. We have some space left. If people are interested in it, they've got to move fast, especially for the finals. The other rounds, we've got a little bit more space and we can customize it. But the finals in actually Miami sold really, really quickly.
Mentioning Miami, I'm going to see the Marlins play Israel on March 3rd in Jupiter.
Oh, fun. That'll be kind of cool.
That should be good, except Team Israel couldn't get Max Fried or Alex Bregman. They tried. Okay. Viewers, you're listening to Travelwitch Radio with Dan Schlossberg. Find the archive show on YouTube, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, X, and Facebook. And we're talking with Jay Smith of Sports Travel and Tours. Jay, what is your background and how did you get into this?
It's a long story. We don't have enough time really for it. I had a question somebody asked me 30-something years ago, can you combine? They knew I was in the travel business, and they said, can you combine going to games and events with vacation? And I said, you can do anything you want in this world as long as you have some knowledge, the time, and you need one important thing is some money. And we put together 3 programs that first year, still in existence. Our East Coast Classic trip, which covers Washington, although Washington wasn't there yet, was Baltimore, Philly, New York, Yankees and Mets, Cooperstown, and Boston. We did a Midwest trip out through Chicago and St. Louis and Milwaukee and Kansas City, and a West Coast trip down from Seattle all the way down the coast. And that's how we started. We had 3 programs. We went with 99 people, and the rest basically is history. We combined one's passion with the love of a sport. We expanded from baseball to other sports there afterwards, and that's pretty much how this all got started. It's a longer story than that, but that's the short end of it.
That was a Reader's Digest version, but that's fine. And people who come to induction weekend, as you mentioned, have plenty of free time to explore the hamlet of Cooperstown, which is in central New York, west of Albany, but south of Utica. If they're coming from out of town, they fly into Albany Airport, Jay?
Yes, Albany Airport is the easiest. You can fly into Syracuse, but again, it's a little further away. Our headquarter hotels are in Albany, and even if you're coming into the hotels in Oneonta and Cooperstown, we transfer you from the Albany Airport. Most people come in a day early on Thursday, and then we transfer people. If you fly into Syracuse, you've got to make your own way with a rental car to get to the hotels in either Oneonta or Cooperstown, if that's indeed where the programs that you're thinking about doing.
And Sports Travel and Tours gets a lot of repeat business. Do some of your passengers come year after year?
Yeah, we're really very lucky. Once people do kind of come under our fold, Dan, they do stick with us. We run about generally in any given year 70-80% return rate of travelers. So people really love what we do. We take the hassle basically out of it. You come back and just sit back, and we take you to the places, bring you and drop you back off again. You don't have to think very much. You just need to enjoy yourself regardless of the sport that you might be joining us with.
And I love your idea of a stadium club, people that have been to all 30 ballparks with Sports Travel and Tours. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have, before you travel with us, we give you a passport. It's called a Passport to Baseball. It looks like a little passport, and it has a page for every stadium. And once you complete the circuit and get to all 30 ballparks with us, we bring you to Cooperstown over induction weekend, and we do it every 4 years. So this year is actually one of our years of induction. And on Saturday of induction weekend, we have a ceremony in the Bullpen Theater at the Hall of Fame, and we induct you into what we call the Stadium Hall of Fame. We give you a plaque. We have a photographer there and take some photos. We give you a chance to make a little speech. And we actually make a profile up for each traveler, Dan, which goes into a booklet that is housed at the Hall of Fame. So friends and family down the road want to come back to Cooperstown and say, hey, my uncle or my aunt is in the Hall of Fame. Can I see the profile book? Somebody will go out from the membership desk and find that profile book, bring it out, and there will be the profile from your family or friend that made it into the Stadium Hall of Fame. So it is kind of a fun feature of what we do. We get a lot of people come back in order to be able to accomplish that. We've got about 150 people who are in that group, and we've got about another 12 to 15 that are up for it for this coming induction.
You had 2 minor league ballparks in 2025. Are those included too?
Well, we have this group that's actually gone to all the ballparks. They are now continuing to travel with one another. They meet each other up with each other once a year, and they are starting to nip away at the minor league parks. So this year we have one that's covering the minor league parks in Michigan. Last year we did one that covered it was Reno, Sacramento, San Jose, and we ended up in San Francisco. So we called it the major minor program. So depending on the year, depends on the location of where that minor league program goes. We did a trip also even out to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons last summer that covered some ballparks in Salt Lake City, in Spokane, Washington, Bozeman, Montana, places like that, which was pretty fun too.
But you had 2 minor league parks in the major league, Sacramento and George Steinbrenner Field.
Yes, those were kind of by default.
Yes.
So we
Hurricane.
We did cover those, absolutely.
Okay, we're talking with Jay Smith of Sports Travel and Tours. Jay, how far in advance does a potential passenger need to book?
You know, that's a hard question to answer. My normal response to some question of that nature is book as soon as you're ready to think that that's what you want to do. If you look at a program and you say, you know, this is great, it's been on my bucket list, I'd love to see these places or go to this event, book it. There's no reason to wait. The longer you wait, you run into a situation of it possibly being sold out, you can't get on. And we do give sometimes some benefits to booking early also. Our baseball programs usually come out in the fall, and then they sell throughout the whole season. So the sooner you book it, the sooner you think you want to go, that's how fast you need to book it.
Well, next year you can have a lot of San Francisco guys because Buster Posey is a first timer, and Dusty Baker and Bruce Bochy, both managers, are likely to get in too.
Yeah, that would be pretty exciting because we haven't had a Giant come in quite some time. So it would be great. It is a big benefit to us to have fans that want to come, that are coming in and come in from out of town, because they can't drive to Cooperstown. So they've got to fly in, and we're the best kept secret in America when it comes to the induction, to be able to enjoy themselves, fly in, and we take care of you right from there. So we are excited about next year, without a
And then
doubt.
right after that, Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina, St. Louis.
Yeah, and that's incredible. Or we have more people. We actually have almost as many people booked for Pujols' year in 2028 than we have booked now for this upcoming induction this year. People know that it's 5 years out after they retired, and Pujols is going to be a guaranteed first-time ballot guy, so there's not really going to be a question. He's a shoo-in. Molina should be a shoo-in too, comparing his stats with everybody else that's in as a catcher. So he should also get in first ballot, and it would be exciting to get these other guys all coming in at the same time in the year that you just suggested for Posey and Baker and Bochy. That would be awesome. 2 years in a row.
Do you have a minimum age requirement for your tours?
We don't. We normally encourage people, to be taken into consideration, not just the other people, but themselves. If you want to enjoy yourself and you have a child along with you, they're going to pull your strings, so much that there's only so much you can enjoy. So, an infant is one thing, depending on the distances that you're traveling, being considerate with the rest of the travelers. We've been very fortunate. We have not had an overabundance of little kids that have been a disruption at all. We've had some, children in their laps with mom and dad, and it's worked out very, very well. The induction ceremonies itself, it's out of doors, so it's not like you're closed into it, and you're not on the motor coach that much, so it really doesn't really matter the age. We normally encourage people around 8 or 10 is really, if I had to pick a wheelhouse beginning, that would be a good space to begin.
Is there anything that you'd like to add, Jay?
No, I think, Dan, we've covered everything. We do obviously have a website. It's just as the company sounds. It's sports, travel, and tours.com. That's sports, travel, and tours.com. And of course, we've got a toll-free number too, which is 800-662-4424. It's 800-662-4424. And we're more than happy to help people with whatever their travels, wherever their travels take them, even if it's not sports related. We do have a partnership with an organization called Travel Alliance Partnerships, and we have a wealth of partners that have pretty much, you want to go somewhere, we can find a partner that can get you there easy enough and make it simple and hassle-free for you. So call us with any needs, even if it doesn't pertain to sports. We surely can help.
Our guest this evening on Travel Itch has been Jay Smith, owner-operator of Sports Travel and Tours, a great organization and the official tour operator of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Thank you, Jay, for joining us on Travel Itch.
Dan, thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure. You have a great night.
Okay, you too. And that's it for this edition of Travel Itch. Next week, we'll talk to Sharon Kurtz about the trailing of the Sheep Festival in Sun Valley, Idaho. Now, this is Dan Schlossberg looking at you sheepishly and saying thank you for your time this time. Until next time, good night. Trying to play my music and never, there it is.